Settle down, settle down, settle down. I know, you're probably jumping for joy right now, jumping out of your seats, standing up, hollering, hooting, whoop whoop, ready for this video, ready to learn some amazing things. Just kidding, you're probably sitting there like this. It's okay. But in this video, we are going to learn something pretty exciting. Well, I think it's pretty exciting and you should be excited too, because I promise you, if you do the stuff I talk about in this video, you will see good results. It's such a good funnel, advertising funnel that I've proven with so many different health coaches out there, and it works a treat. So without further ado, let's jump into the follower funnel. And this is super simple for anyone to do and easy to get started with. This is best for people who have a small social media following, less than 1,000 followers, and want to increase their following to get more social proof. And when I say social proof, what I mean by that is if someone were to come to your page and you have 7 followers and you're trying to get them to work with you as a health coach, you're going to really struggle. And with the more followers you have and the more engagement you get on your posts, the more likely it is that you have that clout that people are after. And it's just a tick. It might not do the most, it might not completely transform your business, but if people go to your page and you have 1,800 followers or 10,000 followers or 50,000 followers, they're much more likely to say, okay, this person is an expert, they know what they're doing, I'm going to work with them. And that's what we want. So if you have very few followers, then I would recommend using this funnel to build your following and improve that social proof. And as a side benefit to this, you'll get clients as well. So when you do this effectively, as I'm going to teach it to you in this video, you'll get followers and then convert those followers to clients. So it's going to A, improve your following so you get more social proof, and B, bring you clients. This follower funnel is also going to work best if you have a big following. So it's kind of funny. It doesn't work. It works well if you have a small following or a big following. Because if you have a big following, you already have that social proof. So you can get really good results because people will come to your page from a boosted post or a follower ad. They'll come to your page and you'll be able to get new followers really effectively and efficiently and cheaply because of your social proof and the evidence that you've already built up that you are someone worth following, because you might already have 10, 50, 100, 2, 5,000 million, I don't know, however many followers you have. If you have a big following, people are more likely to follow you after seeing an ad. And this also works best if you live in the UK, the EU, so you're European, you live in the European Union, or Japan, because in those countries they have privacy laws that stop you from being able to use the DM funnel, which is where we go from an ad to a DM conversation and then book them in for a call. You can't really do that if you are in the UK, Europe, or Japan. So if you are in one of those countries, use the funnel, follow a funnel. It's a really easy way to get started without complex tech, without having to set up complex landing pages, websites, sales pages, all that kind of stuff. You don't need that for the follower funnel. What is this follower funnel, you ask? Well, the follower funnel, let me move myself here. It starts by boosting your best posts. So you're finding your best performing organic posts. That means posts that get the most likes, the most engagement, so the most comments, and the highest watch time. You're looking for those 3 metrics: likes, followers, watch time, and also views as well. If it's a reel, you're looking for views. So those 4 metrics are important. But then we're going to take those posts, big caveat here, the posts have to bring in people who you want as clients. So if you got a viral video of your dog running around in circles in the park and then doing a backflip, and you post that to your page and it gets, I don't know, 100,000 views, and you think, wow, that's such a good video, I'm gonna boost that because it's my best performing video. That's the stupidest idea. You might get followers to your page, but they're gonna be really low quality followers who aren't gonna be your ideal clients. So you have to strike a balance between those engagement metrics and posts that actually align with your ideal clients and the content that they want to see. When you do that stuff, you will find a few posts, hopefully many of them, and you can look over the past 6 months, year, it doesn't matter. We find those posts and then we run them as ads, we boost them, and there's 2 ways we can do that. I'm going to walk you through both those ways very soon. And then all the new followers that we get, we're going to DM them, we're going to send them a message. And 5 minutes ago, I talked about, not even like 2 minutes ago, I talked about how in the EU, the UK, and Japan, you can't use the DM funnel. The reason is because people don't follow you, and you can't message people who don't follow you in those countries. But if they follow you first, which is what happens in the follower funnel, they follow you first, then you can message them. And that's why this works so well if you're from those countries. And then after we've created a conversation, started a conversation with these people, we then jump on a sales call with them. Well, we pitch the sales call with them to them, and they jump on the call and we sell them and they become a client. It's as simple as that. Follow ads, DM, book a call, sell that person into your program. Let's do it. All right. Oh, my camera's disappeared. Let me bring that back for us. We are back, camera fixed. I just went through this stuff that's on this page. Basically, once again, find your best performing organic posts and boost them, and then we're going to send them a message. I didn't mention this though. When we send them a message, we are going to offer them some kind of free guide. Or alternatively, we'll just go straight for the kill, the throat, and say, hey, do you struggle with this problem? And then book them in for a call. Two approaches. I'm going to go through both of them in a bit more detail shortly. So, step one. First step of our funnel, we're going to boost posts. And I already kind of walked you through this earlier, but we're going to look for your top performing organic posts over the last year. That's normally the period I look for. If it's too old, typically things don't perform well. You can try it if you want. If something went viral 3 years ago for you, you may as well try it. But typically I like to look more recent, preferably within the last 3 months, last 6, or if you need more posts, if you don't post too often, then the last 12 months is also fine. And I already went through this as well. Most likes, views, watch time, comments, that's what we're looking for. And I already also went through this. The post should be relevant to the audience you want to attract. Don't just boost a post because it got a lot of views. Here's the new stuff that I haven't gone through yet. We want to boost a few different posts at once. Do not just boost one post, because then it's hard to see the result differences. I would always recommend boosting at least 2 posts at once. So let's say you find 3 posts that have performed quite well over the past month. We're going to use those posts and we're going to boost all of them. Then we're going to wait a couple of weeks and see which post performs best. And then we might use that, continue using that post and stop boosting the other ones that didn't get you a very good cost per follow. I'll go through that more in a second. But when we are using this funnel, we want to aim to get a new follower for between 50 cents to $3 per follower. Meaning if you spend $100 a day, you should be looking to get between 200 to 33 followers per day from that $100. Got it? Let's move on. I just talked about this, but we're going to boost the group of posts, 2 to 3 posts, if you're using Instagram to boost. I'm going to go through a different alternative option that you can use in a second, and I will walk you through how to do both options and when to use that. But if you're using Instagram to boost, that means just your Instagram app on your phone or whatever. We're going to do this for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, and we're going to boost 2 to 3 posts and then see the results and see the cost per follow from each of those posts. And then we're going to review the results at the end of that period, that 3-week period, 2 to 3 week period. Here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes it can be hard to see an exact cost per follow. When you boost posts, I've heard of people being able to see the exact cost per follow, but oftentimes Instagram, depending on where you live in the world, might not show you that cost per follow and how the post performed in terms of how many new followers you got, cost per follow, all that kind of stuff. But what you can do is look at the organic metrics of that post before you boosted it. So let's say you're boosting a post from 3 weeks ago. You can look in the analytics section of that post. You can go in and say, okay, this post got me 3 new followers. And then after you start boosting it, you can wait 3 weeks, and then you go in and say, okay, this post, now it says in the organic metrics that this post has given me 300 followers. And you know that you started from 3 followers on that organic post, meaning paid boosting has given you an additional 297 followers for that post. That's an easy way to work it out if you can't see the exact cost per follow figure. And then I also mentioned this before, but we're going to take the winner. So if we're testing a group of 2 to 3 posts at once, then we're going to look at their results. And let's say one got a cost per follow of 50 cents, another got a cost per follow of 75 cents, and the other got a cost per follow of 80 cents. We might go, okay, the first one performed the best. So we're going to take that first one on and continue boosting it, and then get rid of the second and third one and test one or two different other posts. And then we'll do the same thing. 2 or 3 weeks time, we're going to do the exact same thing. Take the winner on to the next round, cut the 1 or 2 losers. Pretty simple. In terms of the minimum amount of money I'd be spending on this, I would be looking to spend at least $15 per day, minimum. If you're spending any less than that, then it's going to be quite hard to see any meaningful results. I know people who spend $750 a day just on follower ads, just on this funnel, which kind of sounds insane because you think as you spend more money, you might go into more complex funnels. And typically that might be true and might be what I would recommend. But if something's working, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If you can get heaps and heaps of clients from just boosting posts and getting new followers, then why not do that? There's no harm in that at all. So minimum $15 a day, preferably more though. And here's the kicker. Do not boost from your phone, especially if you use an iPhone. Because what happens is Apple take 30% of all purchases through any of the apps from the App Store. So if you go into the Instagram app on your phone and you click Boost Post, the Boost Post button in there, Instagram is going to just add 30% on to the cost of that, meaning you'll get 30% less results for your money. Instead of that, go onto the website, the Instagram.com website, go onto your profile and click Boost Post from the actual website, Instagram.com, because then you save 30%, which means you can basically spend the same amount and get 30% more results because Apple's not just taking 30% of everything you spend boosting that post. That's really important and it's a huge money saver. And one of the main mistakes I see people make, use Instagram.com to boost posts. All right, now, if you're spending above $50 a day, then I'd recommend using Ads Manager, Facebook or Meta Ads Manager, not using Instagram.com or the Instagram app. I will show you why in a second. But as we start to scale up, it's just good practice to be able to use that Ads Manager rather than just boosting posts on your phone. We're still doing the same thing. We're still boosting a post, but we're doing it in a way that's a bit easier to see results and a bit easier to target the followers that you want to follow you. But to start with, if you're spending any less than $50, $60, $70 a day, then just start boosting posts through Instagram.com. That's totally fine. It's the simplest way, easiest way, and it does work. All right? Once people have followed you, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it becomes more than just boosting your followers counts and improving that social proof. Every new follower we get, both organic and paid, you're not going to be able to differentiate between them. So every new follower you get, you're going to send them a DM as soon as possible. If you get to a point where you're getting too busy and you don't have time, just either get an AI bot to do this for you or hire an appointment setter whose job it is to sit in your Instagram DMs and message all new followers and book in sales calls for you. We have a couple of appointment setters that manage our Instagram page, so it's not too expensive to do so. Go out there and do that if you're ready to. Otherwise, you can manage it yourself or get an AI bot to do it for you. But basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be DMing all new followers, and we're going to say something like, there's two ways we can do this. There's one approach is going to be a more direct approach. It's going to be going for the throat, going for the kill early on, just basically saying, hey, do you have this problem? Let's jump on a call kind of way. And indirect is where you beat around the bush a little bit. We maneuver ourselves a little bit. We come across as a bit more genuine, and then we transition slowly to the call. Direct versus indirect. The direct message template might look something like, hey, Paulina, thanks so much for the follow. Just wondering, is whatever Paulina struggles with, is low energy something you are currently struggling with? Just replace Paulina, obviously, with whatever name of that person is. Not everyone is called Paulina, surprisingly enough. And then replace the problem with whatever problem or benefit that you give people. So if it's a benefit, it'd be like, just wondering, are you currently trying to lose weight? Or just wondering, are you currently trying to improve your fitness level or gains in the gym or get shredded? I don't know. So that's either benefit or problem might be, are you currently struggling with X, Y, or Z? Binge eating, gastric issues, digestive issues, bloating, whatever. You get the point. So that's the more direct way. And then we'll transition to a conversation after they've responded. I'm going to walk you through that in a second. But basically, they'll respond and say, hey, yes, I am struggling with this problem. And then that tells you they're a qualified prospect. And then we would try and transition to booking a call with them and get into a bit of a conversation. But for the indirect template, we'd be looking to do something like, hey, Paulina, thanks so much for the follow. To welcome you into my world, I'd love to give you a valuable freebie. What would you prefer, X or Y? The reason we do that X or Y, when I say X or Y, it means two different freebies. So you might have two different YouTube videos or video links or mini courses or PDF guides or podcasts or cheat sheets or whatever. It doesn't matter. You just have two things that you offer them. And the reason we have that is because it creates conversation. You don't say, hey, it's a bit weird if you say, hey, I've got this freebie, would you like me to send it to you? Why don't you just send it in the first place? But if you have that option, people respond and say, I would like option number 1, please, or I would like option number 2, please. And that's the power of your little freebie, the freebie options. Then they'll respond with, oh, I would love the first one, please. And then you just respond quickly and say, great, here's the link. You don't pay wallet, you don't put it behind a lead form asking them to put their name and email in to get it. You just send it to them for free, just the direct link. Great, here's the link, send. New message, by the way, is problem something that you're currently struggling with. So you can see that's almost the exact same message from the direct template. All we've done is we've started with, hey, do you want this freebie? Great, here's the freebie. By the way, is that freebie, the problem that you solve in that freebie, something you're currently struggling with? And if you're trying to work out what niche you want to focus on, maybe you're a new health coach and you aren't too sure which direction you want to go in, and maybe you have 2 or 3 or 4 different areas that you like, then what you can do is have 2 guides focusing on 2 different areas. You might have one guide on helping older women to lose weight post-menopause, and then the second one might be helping, I don't know, pregnant women. They're very different niches. So maybe they'll be a bit more similar than anything to do with pregnant women and post-menopausal women. But the point is, have 2 different niches, and then you have one guide for each of those niches. So what guide would you prefer? Would you prefer the guide to eating after having a baby, or would you prefer the guide to eating post-menopause, whatever, you get the point. And then if they go, oh, I'd love the post-menopause one, and if you find that after over 100 new followers that you get, 80 of them are asking for the post-menopause eating guide, then that tells you maybe there's more of a market for me to go into that post-menopausal eating space. It just helps you narrow that down. So you can either do guides that are on the same topic but different medium, meaning maybe you have a guide on how to stop bloating, and you have a YouTube video, and then you have a checklist or PDF or something. So same problem being solved, but one is a video, one is a checklist. That's option 1. Option 2 is 2 slightly different topics to see what people resonate most with. And then once again, you'd send them the link, ask them if that's something they're currently struggling with, and then you would get into a conversation from there and book in a call. Now, here's an important part. Not all freebies are created equally. I'm going to repeat that. Not all freebies are created equally. Time on brand is everything. If you get a little checklist that is a 1-page PDF checklist on how to eat out at a restaurant without gaining weight or something, I don't know, then that might be a good, valuable guide. But people are going to spend 1 minute going through it. They're going to download it, look at it, and be like, cool, noted, and they're going to close it, never touch it again. In 6 months' time, they're probably not even going to remember that it was you who gave them that guide, because it's just a faceless PDF guide. On the inverse of that, on the other side of that, we might have a 2-hour masterclass that you've sent someone for free. And they've watched a 2-hour, 120-minute masterclass watching your face, and they associate the value that you've given them on that masterclass with you. And that's time on brand, and time on brand is everything. So not all freebies are created equal. I like to say that mini courses or masterclasses, these big, long form content where people go through a course or a masterclass, something really long, is the best you can create in terms of a freebie. But I know that there are a lot of effort to create. So you don't have to do that all the time. What might be easier for you is just to create a 10, 15-minute YouTube video that's really, really good and tackles a specific problem that your customer avatar or your audience struggle with. And then we might send that to them. It doesn't even have to be a YouTube video. You can just upload that you can upload it as a private YouTube video that no one else can see apart from the people you send the link to. I would recommend public. You may as well get the bonus of having other people online being able to discover it. But if you are worried about other people looking at the video that you don't want, then you can just make it private YouTube video or post it on Vimeo or Wistia or any of these other video platforms is totally fine. Or a podcast also really works well. So a long form podcast, they're listening to your voice for 10, 20, 30, 50, 60 minutes. Those things are going to be better than just a faceless guide or PDF or cheat sheet or something. That doesn't mean that those things aren't beneficial. They can be, and it's really easy to throw them together and put them together. But I've found in my experience that video and long form content typically performs better than PDFs and guides as a freebie. Got it? All right, moving on. Let's go. I already kind of went through this, but once we've sent them the message, so we've either the direct or indirect, we've sent them the message. As soon as you find out that it's a problem they're struggling with, so just wondering, is binge eating something you're currently struggling with for the direct, or you've sent them a freebie, and then straight after you've said, hey, by the way, is binge eating something you're currently struggling with? Once we've gotten to that point of the conversation, that's where the fun starts. We're going to wait for their response and then respond to what they say with a personalized response. Personalized response. So let's say they say, yeah, I currently do struggle with binge eating. You might respond and be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How long have you been struggling with this for? And they might be like, I've been struggling for 6 years. And then you might say, can you tell me a little bit more about it? What do you think caused the binge eating? And then they might tell you what caused the binge eating. And that way it's personalized. You're actually responding to what they say to you. And you don't sound like a bot. That's important. And then you do that for a couple of back and forths, 1 or 2 or 3 back and forths, and then you pitch a call. We don't want to keep the conversation too long. We don't want to keep it 20 messages, because the more back and forths you have, the more likely they are to stop responding to you. So we want to show that we're an expert, show that they can trust us, and that we have their best interests at heart, and that we are human. And then as soon as we've established those facts, then we transition to try to book a call in with them. So that would look like you just saying, honestly, Paulina, the name we used before, honestly, Paulina, I'd love to chat more and see if I can help you to stop binge eating or solve whatever problem it is that you help people solve. What's your schedule looking like over the next couple of days? Straight away, send another message that says, I can also drop my calendar link here. In brackets, might be easiest. Once again, we want to reduce the amount of back and forths. If you can get someone to just book themselves in, great. That's why we want to send the link ourselves rather than having to go back and forth Thursday. What time Thursday? And then asking a few follow-up questions as well. Don't do that unless they want to, which some people do. They don't like using links to book themselves in. And send people just straight to a Calendly link or like a booking link that you have, just your direct booking calendar. That's fine. Make it look personal and not really businessy. And that's basically what I want to say around how to book people in. And I'm not going to teach you how to sell them on a call, but that's your job. Get them on a sales call, and then you can sell them into whatever services you have. A couple of extra things. The first thing I want to do is I want you to jump in ASAP, meaning do not leave it for 20 minutes or 3 hours or 6 hours. The longer you leave that message when they first, either the early messages or when they first become a follower, the longer you leave it, the less likely they are to respond. If someone has just come across your content, whether it's a paid ad or an organic post, and you don't respond to them, you don't send them a message for a day or 2 days or 3 days, they're going to be like, oh, who is this woman again? They haven't known you long enough to actually know your face because they've just started following you, but they've also forgotten about you because they started following you 2 days ago. But if they've come across a piece of content, they've followed you, and then 10 minutes after they've followed you, you've sent them a message, they're going to remember who you are because they just saw your post 10 minutes ago and decided to follow you. So jump in ASAP. The quicker you can send them a message, the better. You can also use AI bots for this. I'm not too sure. It depends on, it really depends on your technical capacity, but you can get AI things who you can connect them to your Instagram, and whenever you get a new follower, it just sends them a message after a certain amount of time automatically. That's only going to improve over the next year or two after filming this video. So that might be an option for you if you want to be a bit lazy and automate that process of booking calls, where it'll just send them a message and then ask a couple of questions and then book people in for a call. That's a pretty good use of AI if you ask me. If you wanted to reduce the manual load, it's totally up to you though. If you're mid-convo and they stop replying, maybe you've sent the booking link, maybe you've asked them a question and they've ghosted you. If that's the case, just follow up once or twice. Maybe the next day you just say, hey, just bumping this up. And then 2 days later you might say, hey, just wondering if this is still a priority for you to solve right now. Whatever, it doesn't matter, just 1 or 2 follow-ups. And one final reminder, do not boost from your phone on the Instagram app, especially if you have an Apple device. Boost from your computer, from Instagram.com. And now for the fun stuff. If you're spending, what was it, over $50, $60, $70 a day, you can use Ads Manager. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. I'm not going to show you how to boost a post. I'm sure you can go to your Instagram and learn how to just click boost post and then send that out. If you are going to do that, make sure you're sending it out to people, an audience that is actually meaningful to you. Don't just keep it broad. And because if you're a good looking female in her 20s or 30s or 40s or whatever, and you put an ad out to, I don't know, India or something, you're going to get to Indian men, you're going to get a lot of followers for cheap because you're going to get a lot of like Indian men following you. I've seen it happen before. So, or just men in general, if you put an ad out to men as a good looking woman, you're going to get a lot of followers. But are those followers going to be your clients? It depends what niche you're in, but for most women, probably not, especially if you're working with other women. If you are working with men, then maybe that's a tactic you want to use, but just be careful. Don't put an ad in a cheap country like, I don't know, for example, Bangladesh. If you put an ad in Bangladesh, you might get really cheap followers because ads are so cheap to run there because no one else is doing that. But they're not going to be valuable followers. So just be mindful of who you're targeting with your ads if you're going to use your Instagram.com to boost. If you are going to use the Ads Manager, I'm going to show you how we can do that now. So go into Ads Manager, and then what we want to do is set up an account. If you haven't already, I'm not going to show you how to do that. So just go onto the internet and type in how to set up Facebook Business Manager, set up your Instagram account as a professional account, set up a Facebook account, link those accounts, set it up, link it to Facebook Business Manager, etc, etc. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on the big green Create button. And we're going to create a traffic campaign. And you can see that one of the things that it helps with is Instagram profile visits, which is what we are going to do. So click on the campaign objective, make it a traffic campaign. Manual traffic campaign. And you can just call it whatever you want. You can just call it follower funnel, and then just the country, Australia. Well, let's say the US. We're going to target people in the US. Typically, I like to turn Advantage campaign budget on. It just means that rather than having to set individual budget for each ad sets or ads that you have, you might have like $15, $10, $10 in these ads, $5 in these ads, $20 in these ads. It gets a bit complex and hard to manage. Rather than doing that, you just have one campaign budget and that gets distributed via Facebook or Meta. So you might look at the best performing ads and distribute more of your budget towards the best performing ads and less of your budget towards the ads that aren't performing so well. So just do that Advantage campaign budget. Let's say I'm going to spend, I don't know, $50 a day. That's okay for now. We can click the next button. And here is where we want to select for the conversion location. We want to select Instagram or Facebook. And I like to use Instagram for this. If you want to get Facebook followers, if most of your clients come from Facebook, you can do this and repeat all the instructions I do, but just make it relevant for Facebook. But in this video, I'm going to focus on Instagram, getting Instagram followers. So to do that, untick Facebook because we don't want people getting sent to our Facebook page, and make sure that Instagram profile is still ticked. And then what we want to do here is make sure, if I'm targeting the US, we want people in the United States, not Australia. I typically like to do one campaign per country. So you might have a follower campaign in the US if you take US clients, one in Germany if you take German clients. You get the point. So one campaign per country. For Advantage Plus audience, basically what that means is Facebook will go beyond whatever you tell it. So if you say, I want to target women between 20 to 45 who like playing badminton, then it's going to start with those people, but then it's going to also go beyond that audience and test other new audiences that it might think will convert for your business and become clients or followers in this case. So it's pretty hard to turn this off. Like if I go to switch to original audience options, it'll still say it's turned on by default. Where is it? Oh no, it's not. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So sometimes it will force you to use Advantage Plus, which as I said, pushes it out beyond whatever you tell it to. I think for a follower ad, you have to be, it's very cheap to get clicks and profile visits to your Instagram. So you want to make sure that for these ads, for the follower funnel ads, you want to make sure that you're giving Facebook a little bit of room you want to tell Facebook what to do here. So for most people, you're probably okay using Advantage Plus. So to keep things simple, I'm just going to keep Advantage Plus on, allow Facebook to go beyond my audience. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what we call a lookalike audience. Now, a lookalike audience is people who are similar to whatever audience you want to give Facebook. So for example, a lookalike audience to my followers might be Facebook going, okay, he has 10,000 followers or 50,000 followers. We're going to find people who are similar to his followers and show ads to them. And I'll give you an example of how to create a lookalike audience if you don't already have one. But you can create a lookalike audience of your customers. That's the best one, because if you can get a list of your customers' names, email addresses, and phone numbers, then upload that to Facebook. That's going to be the best, because Facebook are going to show your ads, your follower ads, to people who are most similar to your paying customers. One step down from that would be people who have booked a sales call with you. If you have a list of people who have booked a sales call, use that 100% of the time. The third best one will be your followers, people who follow you or engage with your content, that kind of stuff. So considering most people are just going to be using their own followers as a base, we're just going to create a lookalike audience here of 0 to 1%, meaning the 1% closest whatever lookalike to whatever audience I'm going to do. So we're going to do Instagram followers. So if I made it 3%, 0 to 3%, it means that we're going to target the 3% of people who are most similar to my Instagram audience. If I make it, I don't know, 10 to 5, I'm going to target the 5 to 10% of people who are most similar. So obviously 0 to 1 is going to be the 1% most similar people to that audience. And that audience here is going to be for Instagram accounts. We're going to click on Instagram account. And we'll make sure it's the right one. Let's just make it Michaela Schifferle. People who started following this professional account. So you can see there's a few options here, and you can test a few of them, see what works best. But I would recommend doing people who started following this professional account, or people who engaged with this professional account, or even people who engaged with any post or ad. Either 1, 2, or 3 are going to be the best. Probably top 1 or any post or ad engagement. I'm just going to do followers. And I'm going to call it Michaela followers. And we're going to create that audience. And if I create a lookalike audience, it says Michaela, we want to select a lookalike audience as Michaela followers, the one we just created. We want to make it the top 1% of followers in the United States. And then if we click create audience, it's going to create that for us and create our lookalike audience. So now we are targeting, we don't want to target Michaela's followers, we are targeting the top 1% lookalike in the US, United States of America, of Michaela's followers. So once again, it's going to take Michaela's followers, find people in the US who are similar to that, the most similar to that. And that's it. And you might want to add a couple of lookalike audiences in here. So you might want to create a lookalike audience for, I don't know, people who have engaged with posts. I'm not going to do it now, but you might want to add 2 or 3 lookalike audiences in here. Followers, people who have engaged with any post, maybe people who have come onto your profile. You get the point. And then you can leave Advantage Plus on. If you find that you're getting really bad quality followers, or you're just wasting money and not getting many followers, I would recommend turning Advantage Plus off by clicking switch to original audience options. That way it's only showing your ads to Michaela, to your lookalike audience, your followers, and it's not going beyond that audience that we give it. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. Let's get out of there. And that's that. So then we would set, if we have any, let's say we want women only, because we want our followers to be, our clients are women, so we want our followers to be women. You might set, okay, our followers, I want our clients typically to be between the ages of 25 to 50. So we just set that as well. So now we have women between the ages of 25 to 50 who live in the United States and are very similar to Michaela's current followers. And that's that. That's how you set up your audience. And I would also, for the placements, I would also turn off Facebook placements. So the placements are where your ad shows. And so for this one, considering we're only running ads on Instagram, we only want our ads to show on Instagram. So what I'm going to do is click manual placements here, untick Facebook, and make sure that only Instagram is ticked. If you're doing a Facebook follower funnel, then it's exact same, but just untick Instagram and have only on Facebook, considering that's where we will be sending people. And then we can call this whatever we want. I'm just going to call it, I don't know, Michaela profile, because we're sending people to Michaela's Instagram profile. Michaela, let's go lookalike, 1%. Michaela followers look like 1%, which tells us that in this ad set, we're targeting people, the audience that we're targeting is people who are most similar to Michaela's followers. That's our lookalike audience that we created. And then when it comes to the actual ads themselves, we can boost our post. So in the ad setup, we just want to click use existing post, select post, and now we're looking for the ones that have done the best. So you should probably already have worked out which posts you want to boost. And you might go, okay, this one got 65 likes and 5 comments, so I'm going to click that one here. Obviously, make sure you've vetted that post and make sure it's one that you want to boost, that one that's going to be bringing you potential clients, not just random followers. And you can only boost one post per ad. And I'm going to show you what we can do to duplicate that in a second and make more ads. You can tick website events and offline events as well. If you have other events that you're tracking with a pixel or a data set, for example, if you're tracking booked calls, then you might want to tick this so you can track all the booked calls back to the ads. If you don't currently have anything set up, then don't worry about this now. If you've never run ads before, you don't have to worry about this now. And then it's optional to have the Advantage Plus creative enhancements turned on. You can turn them off. This will just use AI to change a few things around and try and improve your ads. I'm just going to leave it on. I haven't found it matters at all just yet. It doesn't really make much difference. If you want to change, it's basically when you boost a post, it's going to show you your post as an ad, and it's just going to use the exact caption that you gave your post in your Instagram post. So if you want to change your primary text, which I'd recommend doing, that's your caption, go onto Instagram, click edit post, and just change the caption in there. And make sure you have a call to action, like follow @Michaela.Schifferly for more binge eating content or whatever it is that you do. And that's that. And what I'd recommend doing is, when I know I said earlier on the slides, have 2 or 3 boosted posts at once. But if you're using this method and you're spending over $50 a day, you can boost more posts. So if you're spending, let's say, $200 or $300 a day, you can actually have, let's say, 10 posts boosted at once. So to do that, you could just click duplicate, and we're just going to duplicate that 9 times. That means we have 10 total ads. And so for the original ad, we're going to make sure we name it correctly. So whatever this is, this looks like it's an October dump. October dump. And then for another ad, we might select post, and we might go, let's go this one here. And then that's an American eating in America, eating US dessert. That dessert is extra sweet. Oops, only 2 S's. Cool. And you get the point. So we're just making 10 different posts, finding 10 different posts that have performed well that we want to boost. Then we're naming them so we know what they actually are. How I order food out as a nutritionist. How I order food out. Bang, you get the point. And we just go through all of our posts. So if you're spending $50 a day on ads, you might only want to boost 5 or 6 posts at once. But if you're spending, I don't know, $100 a day, you might want to have 10 posts. And keep in mind, with our budget that we've set at the campaign level, it's going to distribute that budget not evenly. So it's not going to, if you do a $100 budget across 10 ads, it's not going to say $10 per ad. It's going to find the best performing ads and spend more money. So you might find that your best performing ad has $60 spent on it, and then your second best performing ad has $15 spent on it, and then the rest of them get peanuts. But that's good. That's what you want, because Facebook's algorithm or AI is automatically finding what that best performing ads are and putting more focus on those ads and pushing that out to more people. So that's why I like to use the Ads Manager. And that's basically it. That's what I want you to focus on. for the follower funnel, and you would launch that, and then, I will go through how you check results. So once you've created your ads, what you can do is now you can customize the results you see. And I'm just going to click custom here. Currently, at the time of recording, 50% of ad accounts, meta ad accounts, don't have this feature, but I assume in 2 or 3 months' time, this will be rolled out to everyone. I can't see it on this account currently, but if you search for followers, you can track how many followers you gained per ad. Currently, on this ad account, I can't see how many followers I got. I can only see the number of profile visits, meaning the number of people who clicked on an ad and came to my profile, which is not what we want. So I might get 1,000 profile visits, but only 100 or 200 followers. And in my ad account, I can't currently see the followers, but in 50% of ad accounts at the date of filming, you can. So when you watch this video, go into the custom metrics, type in follower, and see if you can see Instagram followers. And if you do, click that and then click save. You might want to drag it up, because if things are higher up here, you see it higher in, it's easier to see. I would also recommend tracking Messenger message let's see, messaging conversation started. That's the one I'm looking for. When you're tracking messaging conversation started, that's also going to be tracking not just followers, but did you start conversations with those followers, or did they start conversations with you? So you might say, okay, I got 1,000 profile visits, 100 followers, and 30 messaging conversations started, which is going to be really useful data when you're trying to work out which ads to turn on and off. And then you might say, okay, these ads are performing really bad. It's really high cost per follow. I'm going to turn that ad off. I'm going to turn this ad off, and I'm going to launch a few new ads. And that's how I go about adjusting, boosting posts, seeing what posts have performed well, and actually looking at the right data. So the important data to look at is cost per follow and the messaging conversation started. And if you are tracking booked calls and stuff, then you can send that data back to Facebook and see the cost per booked call from the ads. And that, my friends, is pretty much everything I wanted to go through about Ads Manager. So once again, if you're spending over $50 a day on boosting posts, you may as well use Ads Manager to do it. It makes it easier to track results and target people. It's just worth it. But if you're just starting out, don't worry about it. Just chill. Just use your Instagram.com app. Let's finish this off, shall we? Zoom through this. And that is just one strategy. What I went through today, the follow-up funnel, is just one strategy that we teach our clients. If you implement this strategy, you're going to see amazing results, but it doesn't work for everyone. I found that this is probably effective in maybe 70% of cases. For some people, it just doesn't work. You might get a lot of profile visits, but not a lot of followers, or you might get a lot of followers, but it's really hard to convert them to clients. So it's worth testing this out for yourself. And if you're in the 70% of people that this might work for, this is all you need. Until you scale up to 10 or 20K per month. This is all you're going to need to get clients and fill up your followers and client book. So this funnel is really great, but it's just one funnel. It's one strategy that we teach our clients. And the funnel itself is not the most important thing. The funnel itself will bring people in, but they will only convert and become clients, and you will only create a really sustainable business if you have everything on the back end sorted out. And that is exactly what we can help you with. So if that sounds good and you want some help actually building a consistent client generation system and a business that works for you, not the other way around, then what I would recommend doing is going to this link here, healthcoachgrowthhub.com/strategy-call, and booking in a call. You'll be speaking to either me or someone from my team, and we will walk you through what it looks like to work with us. We'll break down your business and we'll lift up the hood, find out more about you. Then we're going to map out a tailored step-by-step plan to help you reach 10, 20, 30K per month in your health coaching business. I want to stress that this is only for health coaches. That means nutritionists, dietitians, naturopaths, maybe PTs, physios, that kind of stuff. Health coaches and practitioners. If you're just a normal coach outside of that realm, you're probably not going to be a good fit to work with us. But if you are a health coach, then book a call with us and we will be able to help you scale your business. Apart from that, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.